So now I'm going to turn to the health aspects, okay? And that's most of the rest of this talk. So what is the basic problem we've got? And that is that all life on Earth, up until just a few hundred years ago, has evolved from the beginning in only natural lighting conditions. Sun, moon, stars, Milky Way, a few other sources which are much fainter than the Milky Way, and in very regular cycles of day and night fluctuating over the seasons, okay? And as it turns out, especially for animals, they're very wired into this because they're on the edge of survival all the time. And they are very well adapted, as it turns out, to lighting intensities and durations. And they are all partitioned, and they hunt, and they eat, and they do all sorts of things in synchronization with light. So we started gas lighting about 200 years ago. Then we went into electric lighting, and we went from great sand dunes, which of course that sky is impacted by lights nearby there, to that, okay? And you live basically in the middle of that bottom picture. And all the animals and all the plants that are here now live in that when we all and they all evolved for that. So, I could not find a good picture of melatonin. This is just your brain, okay? Your brain has something to do with this slide. Okay, melatonin is one of the, it is the prime mechanism for health effects from artificial lighting. Melatonin is a hormone that is secreted by the pineal gland in your brain, and you have receptors, cells in your retina that take light in. It goes to the SCN, which I won't bother you with, a very long name, but it's basically a mediator, and then it goes to the pineal gland, and that secretes melatonin. Melatonin is what makes you drowsy, okay? Unfortunately, for this situation, it has a lot of other very important health roles as well. So it regulates circadian rhythm, that is your biological clock, in very important ways. And it is also a very important cellular repair mechanism. So it is oncostatic, that is, it halts the progress of cancer. So when you're you're exposed to artificial light, your melatonin secretion is suppressed. You secrete less. And that has some bad effects on human health and on animal health, and actually even on plants. Just an interesting note, every living organism secretes melatonin. Plants, bacteria, algae, everything. Doesn't do the same thing in every organism, but so they know that melatonin came along extremely early in our evolutionary history. So for non-human animals, it is very clear that melatonin suppression has a lot of problematic health effects. It inhibits reproductive success, growth rates, because it regulates embryo development. Immune function, they've done many, many studies that verified it is a very serious health problem for non-human animals. Indoor lighting has been proven to be a serious health problem for humans. So you know how you're not supposed to be using your cell phone an hour before bed? You really should not be using your cell phone an hour before bed, okay? You really shouldn't, okay? And you need to control lighting coming into your bedroom. Actually, melatonin suppression, one of the surprises along the way, is that actually pretty low levels of light suppress melatonin. And so even light coming into your room, I mean, I imagine we've all been annoyed by that at some point, but it disrupts your sleep. And the disruption of sleep is really not good for your health. And that's really the problem with the cell phone. And bluish light, for almost all of the effects I'm talking about, bluish white light is a bigger problem than orange and amber light. It affects insects, birds, all these other animals in many different ways, worse health effects for humans as well. Just want to make sure I've gotten everything on this slide because I can't see this text particularly well as my vision deteriorates with age. Okay. So in humans, I touched on some of this. If you use your cell phone at night, you're going to wind up looking like this guy. Okay? That's the bottom line. We know it causes sleep disruption. It changes the circadian rhythm, and it interferes with immune function. Okay? It is a little unclear because melatonin, the way it works is pretty complicated. It has a lot of different roles, and I myself, because I'm really more of the ecological guy, am not seeing a lot of evidence that outdoor lighting, because those levels are lower than indoor lighting, has a lot of direct effects on humans. However, sleep disruption, which is caused by outdoor lighting, definitely does, okay? And I've listed some of those here. Indoor lighting has been linked to breast cancer, to other diabetes, other very serious conditions, but this has mostly been studied in shift workers. So that's another thing to avoid that has really potentially serious repercussions for your health. Okay, and again, bluish white lighting is worse. So it's not just an annoyance when somebody's shining light or a street light is shining in your house. It is likely to be a health issue. Certainly is a health issue if it causes you to lose any sleep.